Mr. Tom Gresham, host of Gun Talk, heard Sundays on KEEL from 1 till 4. Hey, Mr. Tom, how are you today? Thanks for taking time.
Good morning. Not good news, though.
Another mass shooting at a school, and I heard someone, it was a congressional leader today on my way in, say, this never happens in other countries. This only happens in the U.S. You would have been screaming, correct?
Well, of course, it's not true, which is, that's the fallacy of the whole thing. We've had mass murders in other countries. We've had mass shootings in other countries. That's just a way of pretending that there's nothing we could do, et cetera, when the politicians do not have the courage to step up and arm the teachers. We just had the football coach in the school was also the security guard, and he had to throw his body in front of the bullets because once again, time after time, the Florida legislature votes down the idea of giving teachers, that is this man, firearms with which to protect their students. We'll put armed guards in banks to protect our cash, but we won't protect our students, our children. That's immoral.
Teachers with guns, though, you're going to have folks that say, oh, that could go awry. You could have a kid get a hold of the gun in the there could be lots of things that go wrong. How do you answer that?
And a meteor could hit the school, too. But already we have more than half a dozen states that have armed teachers, and you probably didn't even know about it. Why? Because there are no issues. There are no problems. Kids do not get these guns. It does not happen. So, where's the problem? We already have this happening. The track record is strong on it. And for those who would say, well, something might happen, yeah. A 19-year-old man may go in and start killing people. That's what may happen.
It seems to me that this was a perfect storm of, like so many are, a perfect storm of just things falling through the cracks that somebody, see, I was under the impression, and I go to a couple of schools every now and then, and they have pretty well in place security systems where you just can't wander into the school. And that seems to be the case, that there was nobody to say you don't belong here, that he just wandered into the school pell-mell, willy-nilly, right?
Well, yes, and it's all a system, Robert. You have to have controlled access into the school. But at the same time, it's the old deal of, okay, and what are you going to do if that fails? And then you go, okay, and then what am I going to do if that other thing fails? So the question is, what did they set up, and what were the layers of protection? It sounds as though there were few in this case. But even if you have controlled access, remember, if you get somebody that just wants to kill people, he just walks in and shoots the person at the controlled access and walks through.
And right now you have all those on the political left, the Dems, who politicize this immediately, screaming gun control, gun control. This would never happen if AR-15s, if those military-style weapons weren't available. How do you respond to that? What do you tell people? Because right now it's a very emotional argument.
What I found is that the more you know about firearms, the less likely you are to call for restricting gun control or gun rights. And the less you know about firearms, the more likely you are to say, well, it's got to be the guns that are the problem. We must do something about that. We simply do not have the will. Honestly, if you looked at it, you'd say, well, we don't care about kids. How many kids have died in school fires in the last 50 years? Do you know? Mm-hmm. Zero. None. Why? Because we have fire drills. Because we build every school with fireproof walls. We don't do those things to protect kids from armed assault by madmen. And so we don't have the will. We don't care. Honestly, you can use all the words you want to, but your actions tell you where you are. And if you won't put armed guards in schools, if you want armed teachers and train them so that they can, instead of having to throw their bodies in front of bullets, they can actually go shoot the SOB who's in there and stop it. People say, well, what if they missed and hit somebody? Well, that would be a sad day, but at the same time, people are dying by the second, and that might just be something you have to be willing to accept. Look, the police shoot the wrong people a lot, and we don't say, well, you can't have guns. That's just one of those calculus things that we do. But I don't understand the reluctance to really give serious training to teachers and administrators and staff so they can protect our children.
Let me ask you about the background check, because he apparently bought this AR-15 style gun about a year ago after passing a background check. Now we're finding out he had some mental health issues. Can we do better on the background checks, Tom?
Well, we can always do better on the background checks. The NRA has been working on that. The National Shooting Sports Foundation has been working on that. We've been trying to get the background checks cleared up so that people get reported. In many cases, people aren't reported. And look, no gun owner wants people who shouldn't have guns to have guns. I've never heard anybody say that. So, yeah, we can do better things there. We also, and we keep hearing, we're going to keep peeling this onion until we find out more about this guy. I would like to know what kind of medications he was on. I swear I think there is a strong correlation between psychotropic drugs and these assaults, these attacks.
And we can always do more for our mentally ill, correct? Our country does so little.
We, back, 30 years ago, we decided to mainstream them. This was one of the great liberal democratic moves. It's immoral to put people into institutions. Well, let's just throw them out on the street and make it harder to get mental health care. And so that's not really working for us, as we have veterans and other people on the streets, or homeless people that have mental problems, and then we have this kind of thing pop up. Yeah, and the other thing is, now we're hearing people say, well, we always knew he was a little crazy. We kind of figured he might be the one who would do this kind of thing. Oh, my gosh, people, we've got to spend some serious time and effort telling people when you see something like this, you got to speak up, and then telling administrators, you don't just shrug it off. You've got to take action on this.